Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. For all you guys who doubted Kostas Tsimikas, who said Trent was a liability, who wanted Matip sold at the start of the season, shame on you. They're quality and they're Liverpool lads through and through. That giraffe is absolutely amazing at bursting through the lines, and Kostas Tsimikas, defensive masterclass, and Trent, what can you say, man of the match, right? It's like this Hasegawa Dango right here. Sakura Dango Classic Mochi and Matcha Green Tea. This Hasegawa Dango is so good and so famous in Miyazaki. Celebrities come all the way to Miyazaki to try this gluttonous mochi treat. I can barely unwrap it. This is fresh. 500 yen. The variety here: offensive ability, defensive prowess, and endeavor on off the ball work. It's what it's all about. Yeah, as I was saying. Oh, I'm not lying. Tiger Woods in his off-season. Premier League teams. They go to Miyazaki, which is the honeymoon spot of Japan. Absolutely beautiful. Okinawa's good as well, but Miyazaki is number one. Miyazaki Wagyu beef. Ranked number one. Ahead of Kobe beef. Look it up. So the thing is, as a team performance, you've got to understand Klopp's way of thinking here. It's a defensive effort. This is why he persists with McAllister in the number 6 role. The reason is it's the team that protects him and facilitates him to do his job, which is break the first initial press, receiving the ball, intelligent moving, passing the ball, being brave, holding onto the ball long enough to see the pass, the opening for the pass, and playing it through the lines, right? It may not always work, you may get dispossessed, but it's the team's responsibility to allow him to be able to do that, where there's intelligent movement off the ball to give that channel for McAllister to break the lines of the ball. Actually, Endo came on and did a great line breaking ball as well. Endo's very good at that line breaking ball. But additionally, covering him if he does lose the ball, because on that half space, on that half line, on the 6th position, if you do lose the ball, they turn on you onto defence straight away, and it's going to be Van Dijk and Matip pressing forward to try to recover it as soon as possible before that player can get the head up and distribute the ball, and then it's trouble for Liverpool. Additionally, Kostas Tsimikas and Trent Alexander-Arnold occupying that wing back half space, right? It's not a full-on fullback role, because you know that Doku is going to be the one released by Man City. It became very evident, very clearly, they'd be looking at Doku one-on-one against Trent as their main form of offensive transition, getting the ball to him and making things happen, playing him off Doku, because you'd fancy him against Trent, but not so clearly, right? People mentioned that Trent got dribbled 7 times. Obviously, the first one, Nathan Ake, led to the goal. Alisson slipped. Unfortunately there, what can you do? But the transitional play, we just didn't do well enough as a team. So Boslai missed the opportunity. Trent missed the opportunity as well. In you go, Haaland, clinical, finish. Alisson got a touch, not quite enough. Is what it is, right? Additionally, the other times, mainly by Doku, he didn't get any change out of Trent. And when he burst past Trent, just pure raw attributes to speed, right? Into a dead end line, crossing the ball low off his left foot. Nothing came to it. Matip cleared it with ease. Van Dijk cleared it as well, because the aim is to channel the player into a position of least possible threat. Doku got pushed into the byline against the back with no clear option, not under full control of the ball, had to just smash it in low across the box, and it was clear because you can anticipate where the ball is going to go. Okay, one time it went through to Haaland clipped it through, Alisson world-class save, which actually led to our equaliser. So in terms of defensive play, Trent did pretty damn well, because he channeled Doku into the place of least threat, which is what you want as a defender. You can't always tackle them clean, you can't always dispossess them, you can't go rushing in like a mad bull, you can't stand off them as well, because they'll just drive at you and run at you and do your skill or pace. But on the half turn, channeling Doku around the outside or into congestion zones in the middle when appropriate, where he had to turn back or turn away, it's very hard for a winger to be productive when you're forced into those situations, because even Alisson, knowing that Trent is forcing you to pick a position, can position himself correctly to minimize the threat by collecting the ball or forcing him to hit it longer or forcing him to hit it a certain way. So as a collective unit, you try to turn over the ball by forcing him to play the ball in a crap way, basically. In a weak way, there's not going to be a huge threat on your goal. And Trent did that excellently, as did Tsimikas. But the thing that really impressed me about Kostas Tsimikas is the fact that when he received the ball under pressure in the left wing back slot, right, he did get dispossessed last week, however, or last time out. However, he was brave and confident enough in his own ability to hold onto the ball, to move the ball out wide onto the touchline itself, to create the opportunity to play the ball down the line to Jota or Lucho Diaz, or bring it back inside and rotate, and round we go again, right? The metronome would be McAllister shifting the midfield into the position to allow the Van Dijk opening. Van Dijk was brave enough as well to get his head up to play on the left foot. Predominantly, Van Dijk was always forced into his left foot, but he still played very efficient balls. And Matip, they cannot stop Matip's galloping run. And that's what I said you have to do against Manchester City. Oxlade-Chamberlain was deployed in midfield to do that exact role, to break the lines with progressive run. And Matip playing over Konate brings that option better than anyone in our team. Better than Van Dijk, better than McAllister, probably even better than Endo or Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones in deep position. Matip can break the lines with the long striding runs where the off step doesn't give the opposition a chance to get his foot in because of how wide that gallop is, how wide that stride is. So it proved very effective to get past that initial City press to bring us into the opposition third. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the correct link-up play in the final third between Núñez, Salah and Jota or Diaz. Gakpo actually did pretty well when he came on to actually make something of it. The only clear chance really came from the cross onto Núñez's head, which Ederson saved with his outstretched arm, right? Saying that though, the tactical ploy, the thing that Manchester City are very, very strong at is the planned phases of play in terms of playing the ball around. They know instinctively one touch where to lay it off. The tiki-taka approach of positional play. Rodri especially epitomises this. From the centre of midfield, my goodness, what a player, what a metronome. But it took him time to become familiar with Guardiola's requirements and the players in and around him who he can one-touch it off to. Even Kyle Walker, who's not the most technically proficient, outstanding defender, knows where to one-touch it to. Ederson knows the lines of plays as well, where the players will go to instinctively, because if one channel is closed to, he can go above and beyond, whip it to the fullback, chip it over to the fullback, chip it over to Rodri, someone behind the lines he can play it to. All the City players are so well drilled in the phases of play and the passing lanes that is somewhere that I don't think any team in the world can compete with Manchester City. It's knowing instinctively where your teammate is positioned to one touch lay it off to. And that's why it looks so silky, so smooth, and sometimes very, very boring. However, you don't have to press them and position them in that particular game, because if we went on like mad rushing dogs to absolutely hound and harass them, I'm sure we possibly would have been played for easier and lost that game. But where did you see City's clear-cut chances? It's when our press failed and they beat the line, and then that way we were our own worst enemy, right? Foden cutting in, our press against him failed because he could cut inside into shooting position onto the left foot. Fantastic world-class save from Alisson to save our buttocks in that example. Additionally, Haaland, that chance where we lost the ball, and Ake breaking through our press once again, giving it to Haaland, who slots it away. Apart from that, what can you say? It's the two lines in and around the 6-yard box that Haaland is particularly, very proficient on and deadly. And on the whole, we prevented majority of his chances, except from the one that Alisson saved and we went down the other end to score. Speaking of a goal, by the way, that technique is very rarely seen in world football. The ability to set yourself on the ball bounce against the floor, kind of in a daisy cutter style, as soon as it hits the floor, to swipe it with the side foot to position it and place it inside corner, right? Taking the time away from Ederson. How early he stroked that ball into the net, how quickly he took that chance on the touch and strike, that is what made the goal. Because Alisson, Ederson or any other goalkeeper cannot set themselves for that, and especially the ball coming through many bodies. It's so hard. It's such a high percentage goal chance because it's unexpected. Not many players have the technique to set and hit in that same phase, in that same movement. And that's why Trent Alexander-Arnold is an absolute phenomenon. But he's not a Gerrard and he's not a Kevin De Bruyne, and don't expect him for him to be that if he was to play in midfield, because he can't do that. He's much better with time and space, progressing from the deeper right back position into those zones, right? And he's intelligent enough to know that the space wasn't in the middle because Bernardo Silva was kind of man marking him. So he transitioned out wide to diagonally run into that position off Salah. He undercut, made an inverted inside run for Salah to lay it off. Obviously, the run by Gakpo drew away the defenders, giving him that half-second, half-space chance to do it. But he's a clean striker of the ball, and that's what you need. Clinical, thinking, aggressive, the dog in you to get yourself in that position, even though you may not get the ball or you may have a bad touch. He identified the opportunity and he took it, and that, yeah, what can you say? I love it. Our Scouse heartbeat. Trent, wherever you may play, when you're whipping the ball, it's a goal all day, or when you strike it. Keep it in mind. Yeah, anyway, Trent as a multifaceted, multifunctional player is excellent because you can't pick him up from that right back position. Who's the one who's going to be marking him through that transition? It's got to be Doku, and Doku ain't doing that for shiz. No way, no how. And Foden, wow, he wasted so many chances. He must have been such a frustrating player for Guardiola. Overall, getting a point away at Etihad is an absolutely marvellous result. Kostas Tsimikas is a fantastic left back. I'm sorry, but We've been spoiled with Andrew Robertson. Okay, Andy Robertson, our cheeky chappy, our Scottish lad. He has been the most outstanding left back in the world for generations. Not generations, but Liverpool team for generations for sure. But anyway, in the world, Robertson is an outstanding left back, and you'd hardly trade him for anyone else. Maybe Alphonso Davies, you might make an argument for him, but no. We want our cheeky chappy, our lad in the dressing room, geeing up the players. Finally, a good Dutch player in the squad, right? Van Dijk, Gakpo laughing their head off, but Gravenberch is a good Dutch player. And I'm hearing arguments as well. Gravenberch over Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones, wow, what a waster. He failed in that game. Look, Gravenberch performed well because he came on with an exact role, an exact understanding of the game. He could see the game play out. He could see the channels and opportunities. Who knows if Gravenberch would have burst past Rodri in that same instance. And actually, Rodri made great recovery to force Gravenberch to play early as well. But who knows how he would have done if he started. It's a completely different game when you start and when you come off the bench. In terms of motivation, in terms of seeing the vision, in terms of getting instructions from Pep Linders and the team, right? From Klopp, what Klopp expects him to do. So Gravenberch has a time and a place to start over Curtis Jones for sure. But don't discount Jones because he actually outperformed everyone last season from midfield. And he started the season incredibly well, was a very valuable player. He's a very stop-start kind of, season so far with these undoubted niggling injuries, which is very unfortunate because it's curtailing his progression and his evolution and his, cementing his place in the team. But I think you've got to give him a chance because he has his own qualities, right? If he could have fulfilled his role effectively, we would have perhaps gone on to win that game because Curtis Jones' responsibility was to get into the half spaces and pick up the balls in difficult areas where other players cannot pick up the ball. He did pick up the ball, but he lost the ball. His passing game was not on point. He took too many touches. Old habits die hard. They came out again. Curtis Jones dwindled on too long. Even in one of the really good rondos and highlights from the Liverpool FC highlights clip, tika-taka, playing our way out, Curtis Jones held on too long, was dispossessed, right? So there's a time and place for Curtis Jones, and unfortunately, he didn't fulfill the function that Klopp intended for him, which is why everyone thinks he had a bad game, poor game, but he's not a poor player. He's not a poor player. He really is a good player. Look, good mochi. Good. Now I love the fact that Wataru Endo came in and absolutely scythe through City. Got a deserved yellow card. You need a chopper. Disrupting the play, letting them know, I'm here, I'm Endo. It's the Endo of you. He's going to chop you down, boy. He's going to guarantee to get a red card this season somehow. But it'll be worth it. Just look on his face like, who me? Nani Korea? But as a team, I'm so proud of the Liverpool team because we are right up there. Arsenal barely squeaked a 1-0 victory. They're not going to be doing it throughout the whole season. I think somebody reported on it. I think it was Carragher, right? Arsenal cannot go through the whole season relying on late one goal, a header from Havertz, right? He's unreliable at the best of times. Did you know in Champions League final when he scored the winner, I'm pretty sure that ball was going wide, but I think Ederson deflected it or something to give him the opportunity to score. Yeah, he's not worth the money. And Arsenal, I don't think, can maintain the momentum throughout the whole season because City are a kind of robotic beast. They can churn out dominating displays week in, week out. But this will really have damaged them because we've broken their streak. It was Liverpool. Mental, collateral damage there. Liverpool on the way up because when we get a full squad, when Thiago Alcantara comes back, I'm sorry, for anyone who's discounting and discrediting Thiago Alcantara, watch that masterful maestro performance against Manchester United. There's not many players in world football who can dominate a game to that level. R9, Ronaldo did it against Man United. I love that hat-trick, by the way. Oof, that was hot. Anyway, I digress. We need all our players. We need a full squad. We need Bajcetic here. I'm even considering Football Manager, the new one. New gaming PC. My PC died a few weeks ago, but this PC, absolutely amazing. Made by Dospera from Japan. A high-spec out, like nearly 2,000 quid. I digress again. Football Manager, I want to play it, but then no time for YouTube videos. Let me know if anyone's playing it, by the way, if it's a good game, if it's a good upgrade. I think I played the last one 2 or 3 years ago. But we got a hell of a squad this season, right? And the potential must be sky high. Bajcetic must be right up there, as is Ben Doak. I still need to make that Ben Doak video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, impromptu. Got one mochi left, or one in piece. Miyazaki Man Ichiban. Make sure you like, subscribe. Almost at 500 subscribers, halfway there. Yeah, boy. I need 2,000 watch hours, though. So, yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to grab some of the influential Liverpool YouTubers who will reply back to me, and I'll try and get them on for a podcast episode. I'm quite keen on doing some interaction with the fans. If you guys want to chit chat as well, and then let me know any interesting discussion points we can have on a podcast, let me know. I'd be really keen to do that. I'll be streaming soon as well. New year coming. New house is coming next year as well. Until then, Thank you everyone for your support and love so far. Comment below what you think and why Trent, Tsimikas, and especially Matip, right, who's written off at the start of the season absolutely disgracefully. They deserve kudos. They deserve praise. Comment below. Love your Liverpool team. I love this Liverpool team. I think we'll achieve big things this season. At least Europa League, maybe a cup, hopefully Premier League as well. We can do it. I'm sure we can do it, right? Until next time, guys. Peace out. Ciao.